I think a while back I did a video showing how to do the silver, where that was all taped off on each side. So now I went ahead and did the black, and we did a satin black. It looks a little shiny because it's still a little bit on the wet side. I think it was painted about 5 minutes before I set up my phone. There's a little ledge on there, so we didn't use a vinyl tape. We just used the 1/4 inch green and then put bigger tape around it, because the paint will sit on that little ledge and it'll be as good as it gets. So yeah, that sits in the pocket in the back of the trunk lid. And we're not done, because after this is dry for a few days, there's a pinstripe that goes inside this little trench all the way around. So basically it's black, then chrome, then red, then chrome, then silver, then chrome. And the reason they do that panel with all those colors, it seems like a lot of colors. The silver is called argent, which is a color that Dodge uses. They still use it today. When you buy a truck with steel rally wheels, that's what they have. But there's your red, and then that's like a charcoal dark gray. But this is supposed to be that argent. Then you've got your chrome top and bottom. And then you've got these taillight buckets. You can see the black. Someone put black in there, which will match what we got. It's chrome, but then in here is argent again. They should probably be redone, but the owner's happy with those. Look, even the headlight bezels, chrome, argent, and black. That's just how they do them. And we got those pieces for the hood, which will be blacked out with the black hood treatment. We did these in argent, so they all match too. So, you know, it's a Dodge, Chrysler, Plymouth thing. They went a little extreme with some of this stuff, but you'd never think, but that red makes it cool. And I don't know if I showed it on the video I did this morning, but I did a quick video of a called Buick Love. It's a short, and if you look at the front grille of the 67 Buick, it's a white car, black interior, like a gray plastic grille. It has that same sort of red pinstripe going on in it, just to set it off. So what you're looking at there is the jams. So that was all gray primer, so I just bled it into what was already there, just so that it's all the same. This way, when I put the J-tape around the doors and shut the doors, we can paint the outside of the car, not worry about that. Then later when you're untaping it, you pull the J-tape and it just kind of makes a line to nothing. You can see there's a little line of primer down the rocker there. The tape will sit inside that, so it'll kind of overspray over. It'll all melt together. Again, this is a daily driver and not like super crazy. There was a lot of messed up stuff down at the bottom valance there, so I kind of touched those up with a little bit of yellow while we were doing the other stuff. Some gray stuff on the inner edge of that hood that was fixed. We had to prime down. Again, it's a driver, so that'll be good enough. It's not the way I'd like to do it, but it's all that this guy's paying for. And again, this is not a show queen. This is going to be driven to show and shines in Canada Day and probably in every local parade, right? But yeah, this was all marked up and whatnot because it had been painted a long time ago, so we kind of blended all that in. But what I will do, once this is dry tomorrow, I'll scuff the whole thing as one. So when we paint the car, the tail pan and the front pan is already done. So I can do like a, what I'm going to call, say, a ground coat. I'm going to throw on, because I noticed this yellow, the first coat is almost see-through. Then the second coat starts to hide, and then you do a third coat, which is where you keep an eye on your finish to make it smooth. So that's what we're going to do with that. So what I can do now, I can ground coat the whole car. It'll be quick, and I can totally ignore the valances. But I'm going to have to tape off the top one, drop paper in there, so we're going to have to tape it all up yet. So that's all blended together. There's a couple runs up there that the when the owner jammed it, he got a few runs there. I kind of regret not sanding them off now, but it is what it is. Again, for what we're doing, I think we're going to be good. I've been kind of working on this on the side. Before he brought it to me, he had all this jam too. Of course, it was some primer and whatnot, so I went in there with a little bit of thinner, the stuff I use for cleaning my guns, actually, and basically we just washed the primer right off that paint. And I don't know how he painted. His stuff isn't super duper shiny, but it's good enough. And I mean, we're going to get a bit of overspray, but we'll run right in that edge. We'll run the J tape. That way when you pull it, there's not like a heavy tape line there. It just kind of goes away into nothing. That was just kind of painted to prime it and seal it up. You don't see that. What you do see is this about here. Hope you don't see that. Actually, you don't. So the bezel comes down past that. So what you see is this inner lip and that, and then the bumper sits kind of over it. You kind of don't really see anything. It almost looks like the trunk and bumper, and there's like a little bit you see there, but that'll have to be good enough. That didn't have to be all sealed, but we threw a bit of paint around the inner edge and whatnot. It just makes it a little bit better so that the primer will absorb to some degree, like down the road. So you want to coat that. There's 2 coats on there. It doesn't look real yellow, but like I say, this stuff is very transparent. So your first coat and second coat is not great. I could probably coat that one more time, which we probably will. Case in point, these are already done. This is how it ends up looking when you're all finished. So that's your quarter extension, or taillight bucket, as we used to call them. But yeah, it's good looking paint. Fun car. We cleaned all the primer and whatever gook you had all underneath these edges and stuff like that. Made sure they were all clean, because once everything's closed, that'll be the last of it. When it's painted whole, other than the black spot on the hood we gotta add, we're not gonna be touching this anymore. And this guy's pretty good. He's got a collection of cars, so he'll probably go over it here and there and touch things up and clean things up and, make it a little bit better. We came down the hood, we cleaned everything below the line, so I can run my J tape right in here. I can run one on the inside of the fender. We'll gently close it and they'll just squeeze in there. So that way you don't get a bunch of overspray blowing in under here, because this is already all restored. This is why when you watch these big expensive, say, graveyard cars, they'd build a car like this. They paint the body with nothing on it, no fenders, because you can seal everything, you can get to everything. It's the way to do it. But you got to consider the cost and the time, and and this was a car that should have never been saved. This should have been thrown over the fence pile. And I know people are saying, don't say that. Look at this awesome Chrysler product. You've got a 69 mopar. Oh, look, this car was not awesome. This car sucked. I can't show you the trunk floor now, but everything underneath the car had to be replaced. It was done by an older fella who's a mechanic. And he's been involved in a lot of restorations that he's had done, and he does some work, but in this case he did a lot of the steel work, 3 out of 4 frame rails replaced, floor pans, and all kinds of stuff. So this car isn't perfect, but it's decent. It's going to make a really nice driver. Anyway, that's it for today. Cheers.